The last video I made got me booed in the comments section, and I'll be real with you, that has always been a lifelong dream of mine. So one of you motherfuckers to see this video, please boo me in the comments and press a button, bitch. You know, one of the worst things I've seen in any community for really anything fiction related that has fighting is power scaling. Because just look at Dragon Ball Z, right? Anybody that's old as fuck like me that grew up, you know, the power levels over 9,000, you had 180,000, all that other bullshit, right? It was stupid. It was real fucking stupid. Like, even Dragon Ball Z, the show that fumbled time travel worse than any other thing I've seen in my life, said this is dumb and we're just gonna eliminate it completely. Yet people still hold on to it for some reason, even though the actual franchise itself said, dumb as fuck, let's just eliminate that completely. So you know why power scaling and power levels are just terrible in shows? Because it's just overrated and eventually gets overcame in like 2 seconds later to where you're no longer special. Look at something like fucking Yu Yu Hakusho, Tagashi's other show, that started out really well, then switched over to this kind of power level bullshit with rankings. Fucked up the whole entire thing to me. I'm just gonna say that. Like, you spent probably 90% of the show hyping up Toguro, also one of the best villains in fucking anime by the way, as like this huge threat. But then as soon as he dies and we introduce this power scaling type bullshit, oh yeah, Toguro was only B ranked, we're just gonna say that to hype up our next nigga who's just not even that entertaining, just to make him seem strong. You see the problem here, just kind of shits on an actually good character, and it's like, you really wasn't shit, look at this nigga now. It's that hot potato bullshit I was talking about. Not that great, you know, it's not for me. And I'll give 2 examples. I'll give a show that could benefit from a power scaling situation and a show that does perfectly fine without one. One that could benefit is Jujutsu Kaisen, because technically they have a power scaling system, but not fucking really. The power scaling is basically, hey, special grade, grade 1, 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah, right? But special grade doesn't really mean shit, because special grade is just a huge range of who could be special grade. Sukuna and this random nigga from floor 4 were both special grade. We saw how that worked out, right? And then Gojo, the strongest person in Jujutsu Kaisen, is considered special grade. But how different is he from everybody else? Everybody else is in special grade. Really? You know what I'm saying? There's no defined real scaling, and I don't think matchups mean something in this show. They do, but not to the degree of others. I think it is like kind of a power difference that kind of determines fights a lot of times. Matchups do definitely help, especially if you're fighting in a group. But 1v1, you know, the person that has just the higher tier power is most likely gonna win in this show. That's just kind of how it is, right? So I think this one could do better with defined power scaling, maybe. Not go overboard with fucking numbers. Don't add numbers in like 7 Deadly Sins. You know, one of the many fuck-ups they did. But a more defined, clear-cut scaling of who's who will probably help this show in the long run. And I say that too because look at Black Clover, right? Because they kind of do the same shit, like, hey, stage 2, stage whatever, fuck, arcane stage, and the next thing you know, everybody's arcane stage and it's no longer fucking special, right? That's what I mean. Special grade is the same shit Jujutsu Kaisen. That's kind of a better example of what I mean as more defined and clear-cut scalings. You know, because then everybody's special at this point. It doesn't really fucking matter. Anybody bored enough to get to this point in the video is probably gonna hate what I'm about to say, but one of the better shows I think that doesn't really have that much of a power scaling system is Demon Slayer. Because, yeah, sure, we have either you're Hashira or you're not, either you're Upper Moon or you're not. Upper Moon's got numbers. Just comes down to matchups and strategy and honestly pure fucking luck. Really, honestly. Now, I know there's some motherfucker that's made a video about who's the strongest Hashira, blah blah blah, how much they rank. Who cares? You know, fuck you. It really comes down to just, can you get lucky and just kill them before they kill you? That's really all it draws down to in this show. And it shows like in 90% of the time, other than fucking Yoruichi, every human here is at a disadvantage. Every time, except for a couple of bullshit little plot army moments, but every other time humans are at a huge disadvantage. It just comes down to strategy and teamwork, really, to beat Upper Moons. I think that's a great way of not having a power system and being a good fighting show. It shows you don't need, well, I was about to say you don't need plot armor. Who the fuck am I kidding? This whole show is plot armor. And I feel like I brought this up when talking about Toguro earlier. The characters that suffer the most from power scaling, honestly, is really the villains, because then they just gotta be made an example of to be shitted on to hype up the new person. That's not really necessary in my opinion. You know, you look at some shows and I get it, the villain gradually scales higher and higher and higher and higher. That's not fucking necessary. It really isn't. You can have up peaks and valleys with fucking villains, and just hype up one is just that huge problem. Maybe have them come back later, but just make them feel like at the time they were a really hard threat. You know what I'm saying? They don't need to just be like, hey, this guy was just world ending or planet ending or whatever the fuck, you know, neighborhood ending at the time. And then 2 weeks later, the new person comes in and just puts them in a trash can and just, you know, takes their lunch money. Not necessary, really. Not at all. So I wish power scaling could be a little bit better. You know, I'm also complaining and not making these fucking shows, but hey, that's kind of how the internet works, right?